Welcome to All Things Nate. Today we're going to ask ourselves the question of, what's the difference? Why is it that when some people go through life-threatening and life-altering circumstances, they crumble, and other people go through those circumstances and they rise up and they provide hope to others and live a hope-filled life? I was watching an episode of America's Got Talent the other day, which is a show that my wife and I really enjoy watching together. This episode was going over highlight auditions from the last 6 years, and two of them really stuck out to me and drove me down the path towards this episode. One was, her stage name is Nightbird. Nightbird had cancer. She ultimately couldn't even compete in the show because she was getting sick with cancer again and had to focus on her health. After going through remission twice, she ended up with cancer a third time, and she just passed away early 2022. She auditioned in 2021. Yet, in the midst of all of that life-threatening adversity, she said things to the judges and ultimately to the world through the show that gave hope to people who feel hopeless, that gave courage to people who felt like cowards, and allowed people to be able to push through adversity that they hadn't been able to before. The other, her name is Mandy Harvey. Mandy Harvey was singing by the age of 4, but by the age of 18, she ended up with a rare disease that caused her to go deaf. Now, when she came on to the show, and then a little bit of back information, the way that she has been able to sing, even though she can't hear anything, is muscle memory. She's got tools to help her track her pitch. And on the episode, she had no shoes on, so she could feel the vibrations in the floor. So, yet another person. But Mandy's story is a little different. For Mandy, when she first lost her hearing, she did quit. She gave up because life, what's it worth when I've lost this major important aspect of my life? Now, she found her way back up again, and she was able to come onto the show. I'm actually going to post links in the description to each of their YouTube channels that has their music videos. I know Mandy's also on Facebook that I'm sure you could find, but both working through adversity in different ways, different paces, and yet neither ultimately quit. When I was watching these, a couple of things came to mind for me. The first is my ADHD. I've thrown a lot of pity parties and woe is me moments in reference to my ADHD, because frankly, it's incredibly frustrating. And we're going to do an entire video on some of those frustrations. Not in a woe is me way, but just helping you understand where it's coming from and connecting with other people who feel the same way and maybe don't know how to voice that. But for now, understand, it gave me perspective that, yeah, having ADHD is a life-altering event. Your life is not the same. I'm not neurotypical. I have embarrassing, frustrating, shameful moments from things that happen and things that I do or don't do that I should. And that is frustrating. But I need to keep perspective on what I'm dealing with and work through it and with it, because there are positives that come with it. And it's easy to get focused on the negatives, but it's my responsibility to find ways to not. Now, the other thing I was thinking of was a time when I had a specific acute moment of life-altering news, and I did quit. So when it was COVID, and I was doing kettlebells, which I talked about in my health and fitness episode that we did, I was actually doing that because I wanted to get into rock climbing. So I was getting into shape and I was doing kettlebells specifically. I love them, but also it was good workout, whole body workout to be able to be in shape to do rock climbing. Well, the orthopedic, what he told me is your labrum tore and it never healed and arthritis filled in the gap. So I can't lift my arm above parallel and then do anything of consequence, or I will trash my shoulder more. When I was told that, I had the option to look for new forms of exercise, look for new exercise goals. I mean, frankly, I hadn't even started rock climbing yet. It was just a notion in my head that I'd latched onto. My wife encouraged me to find other methods of exercise. What did I do? I threw a more than year-long pity party for myself, and I didn't exercise once. Outside of common household chores like mowing the lawn, I didn't go to a gym. I didn't work out at home. I did nothing because I was so frustrated at having lost something that I felt should have been mine, and I was never given the choice. It was just gone, and I had no option about it, and I hated that. So I quit. And frankly, I didn't unquit alone. So when I went to the doctor for my hip, and I went to that orthopedic, it was like for him to tell me that I only have one hip and I need to treat it better, I need to lose weight, and I can do it through cycling and swimming. It was like I was on the floor crying and sobbing like a little kid, and he reached down and said, "Hey, let me help you up and show you how you can do this." It was everything that I needed, and he will probably never understand how instrumental he was in helping me get out of that funk from my shoulder. Sorry. So, we all go through different forms of adversity. I hate the comparison game. Every type of adversity it's subjective how it affects us, but it genuinely affects us. But specifically, things that are life-threatening and life-altering. You can't go back to normal, you have to find a new normal. Those kinds of things, it's really easy to quit. So that's why when I saw these two women on America's Got Talent, it just reminded me of, wow, they had things so much worse than I do. Yes, that's that comparison game that I hate. And yet they were able to find hope, to work through adversity, and that challenges me. So here's what I'd like us to do. There's two people I want to talk to. First is those of you who've had life-threatening and life-altering adversity in your life, and either you pushed your way through, you found hope from the beginning and never struggled, or you did quit, you did struggle, and you found your way out of that. What are the things that helped you? It might be a person. It might be a mindset that just clicked. It might be another event in your life, but would you encourage us by sharing those things with us? Then, to those of you who are struggling, who are dealing with those life-threatening and life-altering adversities, and you have quit and you feel hopeless, I just want to say one thing. You are not alone. There are so many of us that go through these kinds of things, and we don't necessarily do it well, but we often feel isolated and alone in the midst of doing them. So you're not alone, and you need to know that. Guys, this has been a really deep topic, and I'm struggling. So I want your conversation. Can we just do life together a little bit with this one? If you would care to, would you please consider subscribing? Click that bell icon. We all know what it does. And I'll catch you guys next time on All Things Nate.